Looks like we're good. Alright, it's been about a month since I came to you with an update, so Shoe Shack Redemption here, happy to give you a progress update on what I've been working on. Last time I shared the 93-94 season. I played the NBA Finals, Rockets beat the Knicks, so I promised I'd have the 94-95 season coming soon, and that I do. So I'll go ahead and show you what I've done there. I actually have the season done and the playoff setup done as well. So let me show you again where to find those. So again, this is a share scenario. So you have everything you need there with the rosters and everything. I'm gonna click a new slot, but I'm not gonna download it. I'll use my file I have already. So you can see what I have uploaded. I thought the limit was 5 because once I saved a 6th the first time, it did an overwrite on whatever my oldest file was, yet these two last ones I uploaded, it didn't overwrite something. So maybe the limit is 10, because I have 7 now. So I don't know what was happening. I very much doubt they expanded the limit. But I have kind of a hodgepodge of things. The most important ones I would think that people would want are the different seasons. So my 3 seasons are here, 92, 93, 93, 94, and then 94, 95 is what I just uploaded yesterday. The other ones that are still out here, I have the 93 All-Star Game that has the updated rosters for that season, and also the 94 All-Star Game, and then the 93 Finals. Between the Bulls and Suns. And then what I just finished earlier today was the 95 playoffs. So simulated the 94-95 season through, got the standings as close as I could to real so that the playoff matchups were correct, and then did the rotation. So I'm going to show you both of these, just a quick run through, and then we'll see where we go from there. So I'm not going to load because I'm running out of room here on my save. So let me just load my files, which should be this one. So this is the start of the 94-95 season. There were a few new logos. I'll see if I can remember them. The Nuggets were one, I believe, and the Cavs were one. So there's the Cavs. I'm pretty sure the Nuggets were, unless that was the previous year. Maybe it was the Kings I was thinking of. But the Bucks, Nuggets, Kings, Cavs have all changed logos in the last 2 seasons. I might be getting them confused which was which, but those are the new ones. So those are there, along with any new jerseys or court updates. I won't show those because I think you've seen enough of those in the previous videos. So let's just jump into some rosters here so I can show you who maybe changed some teams. I might not remember because it's been a while. And you can also see the rookies that have joined their teams too. So Sharon Wright was the 6th pick, joined the Sixers. Nobody else really significant change there. Big dog Glenn Robinson is the number 1 pick for the Bucks. And then we've got, I don't think there was much more changed on the team there. The Bulls, so this is the year where Jordan comes back at the end of the season. So I went ahead and put him out for personal reasons with the timeline of where he'll be back for the number of games he played that year, which I forget, was it 19? Oh, it doesn't show. But whatever it is, he'll come back and play the right number of games. We've got really not much else changed. The Bulls didn't change a lot until the following year, I think. Cavs, a lot of the same players on their team. You can see, well, you can kind of see their jerseys here. Cool looking jerseys. Dominique Wilkins is on the Celtics after being traded to the Clippers the previous year. So he's now their star player. Blue Edwards joined the team from the Bucks. Eric Montross was their draft pick. He's a top 10 pick. Clippers are the worst team by far overall wise, and I think, if I remember correctly, they had the worst record. Not much going on there. A couple rookies. Piatkowski. We've got the Hawks. Hilo is already on the team. The Heat. And I'll show you when I get to the playoff file, I'll show you the updates that happened, or the transactions that happened throughout this 94-95 season 2. Hornets, Hersey's still on the team. Parrish. So this won't show the stats of my previous seasons because he already went through his retirement twice. So if you've played through, you know that you can only keep someone from retiring once. So what I did is, after the second year he retired, I just uploaded his DNA and then created a new Robert Parrish out of that. So you won't have his stats, but at least you have him with the same attributes and tendencies that I've already worked on. That's kind of my workaround there. The Jazz, not much different here. Kings, Brian Grant was their top 10 pick. And Michael Smith is a rookie as well. The Knicks have mostly the same team. Lakers. I was surprised with how well the Lakers played during this season. I didn't know I think they were the 4th or 5th seed. I'll remember once I get to that play. Eddie Jones, draft pick. We've got the Magic with Shaq being awesome, and Penny after his good rookie season. Horace Grant came over from the Bulls, so that was a change from the Bulls. Forgot about that. That's a big one. Big pickup for the Magic. Mavericks drafted Jason Kidd, so we got Jamal, Jim, and Jason here. And that's pretty much it for the Mavericks. The Nets, I think, are mostly the same. Was he on the team before? Yes. The Nuggets drafted Jalen Rose and got Dale Ellis from the Spurs. So they made some improvements. Pacers got Mark Jackson from the Clippers. So this is like prime Pacers here in the mid-90s. Pistons drafted the co-rookie of the year, Grant Hill, here, which I'll have to see what he went up to throughout the season. So he's 83 overall here at the start, but I'm guessing he's at least like an 86 by the end of the season. Probably makes sense. The Rockets, the championship Rockets, didn't change much. Chilcutt was added. Chucky Brown was added. That's pretty much it, I think. Spurs still have Rodman for another season. We've got aging Moses Malone. He was another guy who retired. I had to recreate. Got the Suns here. They picked up Danny Manning. And then also Tisdale from the Kings. Wesley Person was their rookie. So pretty cool Suns team. Sonics, I think, pretty much the same as the previous year. They had gotten Perkins already. Irvin Johnson. Timberwolves. Danielle Marshall was their draft pick, who gets traded later in the season. It's the 4th pick. Trailblazers, mostly the same. Aaron McKee's their rookie. Warriors, this is a crazy lineup if they would have just been able to keep them together. Tim Hardaway, Sprewell, Mullen, Weber, and Cycli. That's a lot of firepower there. But Weber gets traded at the start of the season, so not for long. Bullets drafted Juwan Howard, who will quickly become their best player until they trade for Weber here. Got Young, Mirasan, and Cheney. And that's it for the rosters. Now let me go see my other playoffs file. And I can show you kind of how things turned out through my simulation. And that's going to be this one. So here's the playoff matchups for real. I was very close to screwing it up because the Jazz actually had a better record than the Suns in real life, and the Knicks had a better record than the Pacers, but I forgot that back in this year, the 94-95 season, the top two seeds were in different conferences. So because the Knicks were in the same conference as the Magic, they couldn't be the 2 seed. So I had to end up giving the Pacers a better record than the Knicks, and same with the Suns over the Jazz, just to make the matchups right. So I'm glad I caught that before I got through the whole season. That would have been painful to have to do all over again. But there's some cool matchups. And the Rockets and Magic end up meeting in the finals here. I don't know that I'll play that one because it'll hurt too bad to make Shaq lose. But I also found it crazy that the Rockets, I don't know if they're maybe the only team in history that has done this, but they beat the 3-seed Jazz, went on to beat the 2-seed Suns, and then beat the 1-seed Spurs in the conference finals, and then beat the 1 seed of the Eastern Conference in the finals. So it's crazy. Go from 6 seed to kind of dominating the best teams in the league. So let me show you the transactions. I'll check the transaction history if there's anything I'm forgetting, but I think I can point them out when I get to them. So you can see Jordan's back now. Wow, he went down 2 overall. That's crazy. So he sits out most of the year and he goes down, which actually, if you look at his stats, it was probably his worst, I mean, relative to what else he did in the 90s. I think if he stayed 97, that'd be better. But it doesn't affect his stats. As you can see, average lots of points. 35 is kind of crazy. Okay, I don't think they had any changes. I'll just show any of the big changes here if they're in the top of the list. Oh, Brian, what did you say? Rockets are only 6 seed to ever win. Well, that makes sense. So I guess that would mean they're the only one to ever beat 3-2-1 and then won. This was a big trade. So you got Steve Smith and Grant Long coming over to the Hawks for Kevin Willis, who we see on the Heat over here. This was kind of good Willis, but on his way down. I don't think he ever reached his stardom after this. Nothing huge here. The Jazz got Blue Edwards from the Celtics. And then the Knicks, they traded Doc Rivers to the Spurs, so we'll see him. Or no, they didn't trade him. They cut him, and then the Spurs signed him, I think. I traded him because it's just faster to do it that way. Nothing changed there. Yeah, there weren't that many, but some of them were big. I think the Smith-Willis one was one of the bigger ones. And here's the biggest one. So Clyde the Glide joins the defending champ Rockets. And you'll see Otis Thorpe over on the Blazers. There's Doc on the Spurs. 81 seems a little good for him, but nonetheless, he's there. Gugliotta ends up on the Timberwolves. So he actually got traded twice in the season. So he was drafted by the Bullets, played a couple seasons, and then traded to the Warriors for Weber, and then traded from the Warriors to Minnesota for Donyell Marshall. So Googs was all over the place. There you see Thorpe. I was surprised to see he did not start for the Blazers. So they trade Clyde Drexler for a sixth man, pretty much. Here's the Warriors, so you see Weber's gone, and there's Donyell. And there's Weber on the Bullets. Jawan, what was he? I think he was an 80 when I just showed him, so he went up 3 throughout the year. Oh, I wanted to see Grant Hill. He was 83 before. Now he's 86. Look at that. I think that's what I guessed. On his way to being the best player on the team and one of the best in the league. So that's it. The next thing I'm going to do, and I think could very well be the last thing I do, unless I do go all the way to a 95, 96, at least give it one shot. I think what I'm going to do is set up the 95 expansion draft, so you can see that the, where do I see that? Look, expansion, the Raptors and Grizzlies are joining the league, so if I can get to that part of the off season, it'd be kind of fun to have that scenario to play through if you want to take control of one or both of the teams and do the expansion draft and get some of the cool rookies, which I can show those to, and then see what kind of team you can put together. I'm sure it'll be better than whatever they did, because I think they were both pretty awful their first year. Let me show you let's just do the mock draft. So the teams aren't quite in order. It's cool to see Kevin Garnett going to Minnesota, though. I think he's the consensus #1 pick here, although the actual #1 pick was Joe Smith. So you've got McDyess, Stackhouse going to the Sixers. That works. According to this draft, they don't know that the Grizzlies and Raptors are here yet. We've got Rasheed Wallace, Stoudemire, Travis Best going top 10 in this version. Hopefully that's not true in all of them. Let me go to this other. This is a little better to see where they're projected. So McDyess was the real-life second pick, so he's projected there. Joe Smith's supposed to go #1, but it's hard to get him to show better than Garnett, McDyess, and some of these other guys. Garnett was really 5th, I think. Stackhouse was 3rd or 4th. I don't remember now. But all these guys were top 10, so going in the range, you got Gary Trent here, Kirk Thomas, Alan Henderson, Eric Williams, Corliss Williamson. Brent Barry, I think, is going a little high. He might have been in the teens. Finley, he was someone I couldn't make bad enough. Like, he's supposed to go in the 20s, but since he's one of the, he's one of the better guys in this class in the end, he's projected top 10. Cherokee Parks, Sean Resper, Greg Ostertag, Ed O'Bannon was I think a top 10 or close to it. Bob Sura, Jason Caffey, Theo Ratliff, David Vaughn, there's Best. Okay, so 2 of them have him 8th or 19th. I think he was actually like 21st or something like that for the Pacers. Lauren Meyer, Zedek, I don't know. Stackhouse was 3rd. Okay, cool. Sherelle Ford. Some of these guys did not have very long NBA careers, but they were first-round picks. So, and I will admit I didn't create this entire draft class. I found somebody who had a lot of these players already, and I've just adjusted their attributes, tendencies, potential. And I did create quite a few people for this one, more than I did in the 94 one. Fred Hoiberg, Tyus Edney, Andrew DeClerc, Corey Alexander, Don Reed, Mario Bennett was a late first who played like a couple seasons, I think. Eric Snow, Matt Maloney is someone who is in the draft class but not, I think he plays overseas for a year before he comes to the Rockets. John Amici. That's it. So quite a few people. I mean, if I go by positions, there's some pretty good people. So you got Stoudemire, way better than any of the other point guards. But like Eric Snow in here. And you'll notice that, as I've done before, everybody who's not real is like super bad. So even if they get drafted, it can just sit at the end of a bench. We've got Stackhouse, the best by far of the shooting guards. Garnett, according to Basketball Reference, was small forward his rookie year, so that must mean that Gugliotta was the power forward. They had Leitner too. Did they start all three? I don't know. That's something I'll look at if I do my 95-96 season. Finley, I mean, is the next best small forward. Power forward is a pretty good position in this one. McDye, Smith, Wallace, Kurt Thomas had a really long career. Yeah, a lot of power forwards. It's probably the deepest position in this one. Although there are a lot of centers too. Theo Ratliff. It's good stuff. Well, I guess there's not that many. A lot of not so relevant people, but Ostertag had a decent career. Reeves was good when he played, but not for very long. And that's it. Like I said, I'll probably get to the expansion draft, and then I'll maybe share another video here. So until next time, thanks for checking in. Shoe Shack Redemption is out.